Coral reefs are super important ecosystems. They provide food and habitat for so many unique species. And they've been around for a really long time. Did you know the first coral reefs evolved 485 million years ago? In fact, some modern reef ecosystems have been functioning continuously for over 10,000 years since the end of the last ice age. Sadly, human activity is putting the world's reefs at risk. How? Humans have been dumping a little gas to our atmosphere called carbon dioxide. Perhaps you've heard of it? Since the dawn of the industrial era, when fossil fuels like coal and gasoline have been burned for energy, carbon dioxide levels in our atmosphere have gone from 280 to 420 parts per million. What's the big deal? It's just a little extra gas. I get a little extra gas all the time. These molecules, while small and making up only a tiny fraction of the gases in our atmosphere, are really good at holding on to heat, which is why our planet is getting warmer. To teach us why this is all so bad for coral reefs is my friend and marine microbiologist, Dr. Jeanette Davis.
I'm Dr. Jeanette Davis, also known as Dr. Ocean, and I'm a marine microbiologist, which means that I study the things in the ocean that you can't see without a microscope. And I'm also a best-selling children's science book author. Ocean acidification is a phenomenon that's currently taking place due to climate change. And just to take a step back, our planet has a natural heating and cooling system. And as we produce more CO2 or carbon dioxide in the environment, it is a part of like the heating system of the planet. So CO2, methane, and various gases, it's almost like covering the earth with a blanket. And the more CO2 that we put in the atmosphere, the more of those blankets cover the earth, which makes it warmer. So warmer planet means a warmer ocean. And so the ocean works with the atmosphere, and the CO2 is absorbed from the atmosphere into the ocean. And so now we have more carbon dioxide, not just in the atmosphere, but also in the ocean. And as the ocean is taking up some of that CO2 or carbon dioxide, it produces something called hydrogen ions. And these hydrogen ions make the ocean more acidic. So overall, more CO2 makes more hydrogen ions, which means more acid in the ocean, which leads to ocean acidification, which is a really important thing to study because it's not great for the environment overall. Some of the negative impacts of more ocean acidification in the ocean environment is that it negatively impacts organisms that form skeleton or shells in the ocean environment, and that includes corals or oysters and clams and things like that. So these organisms naturally need something called limestone, or what we call calcium carbonate. And again, because there is excess in hydrogen ions, they bond with this carbonate to form another chemical bond. And so organisms such as corals no longer have the carbonate that they need to form their skeleton. So essentially, acidic environment or ocean acidification doesn't allow corals or other shell forming organisms to have the needed environment to build their skeleton and maintain a healthy ecosystem overall in the environment. Coral reef environments are actually known as the rainforest of the sea because so many other organisms depend on coral reef environments. So plants, sea turtles, fish, birds, they use coral reef environments for shelter, to find food, to reproduce, to even rear some of their young in the nooks and crannies of coral reef environments. So if they are not healthy, it also means that thousands of other organisms are also not healthy and safe to have the environment that they need to thrive.
A warming and more acidic ocean spells trouble for the world's coral reefs, but there is work being done to protect them. Researchers are trying to understand which coral species are the most resilient to climate change. And there's been some projects that have shown some really promising results in seeding reefs with these more climate resilient species. One such project is called Coral Vita. They have a special process that allows corals to grow up to 50 times faster than they normally would in the wild. They then train the corals to live in more acidic and warmer ocean conditions. It could be a real game changer for dead reefs. The Biscayne National Park Institute also does a lot of really important research on reefs here in the park. Now, I know what you're thinking. A warming, more acidic ocean is horrible. How can I help? But also, I don't live super close to an ocean or know anything about growing coral. But the closest thing I have to an ocean is a red lobster. Here's the thing. We need to cut our fossil fuel usage. That's the bottom line. And while change needs to happen at the biggest of scales, individuals, and yes, that includes kids, can collectively make a difference. So ride your bike or take the bus where you're going if you can. Make sure you recycle. Buy local food. Don't water your lawn so much. Buy your clothes secondhand. And whatever you do, support local, state, and federal leaders who will take meaningful action on climate change. Want to learn more about our national parks? Then hit that subscribe button, friend. Stay up to date and catch bonus features by following us on Instagram @OutSCIder.